Guys, thanks so much for joining us. First question is for you, Alex. We've seen a call by the president for an international investment into the region. Tell our delegates here who are looking to allocate capital why this is so important and what the opportunities are, and give them a little bit of the backstage stuff that you and I were talking about in terms of the realms of safety inside of the country of Ukraine.
Sure. Well, hi, everyone. And I totally agree with the president, and I always say it is the best way to help Ukraine is to invest in Ukraine. Because we have a really powerful IT sector, not just IT sector, there's a couple more, but since I'm involved in this area, I can definitely say there's a land of numerous startups and companies that work with Fortune 500 companies from around the world. And I think that we learn how to provide for ourselves. And even in this difficult time, we able to maintain 96% of Ukrainian companies, IT companies, still operational. And working with them, choosing them as a client, you help Ukraine to support its citizens, its army, with the taxes that they pay, with the salaries that they pay, because the majority of people still stays in Ukraine. Recent studies shows that only 57,000 of IT experts left Ukraine, but more than like 260 still there. So the majority of people still in Ukraine. And initiatives like we today announced with the FF Ventures, this is exactly what we should be doing. Doing this fund with the $30 million, eventually want to have like $50 million fund to help, dedicated to help Ukrainian startups. This is exactly what we need today as Ukraine. And in terms of, let's think what's going on right now. For the last 2 weeks, we really pushed Russians back. Our army advanced on more than 50 miles and defeated them. So we totally believe that Ukraine is going to win. It's not a matter of question, like we win or not. We definitely win. It's just a matter of time. So and again, social polls in Ukraine shows that more than 90% of Ukrainians believe that Ukraine eventually going to win.
So John, you started a venture capital fund. You're deploying capital into the Ukraine. There's obviously concerns about safety. There's concerns about infrastructure, et cetera. So why now?
When is a good time? It's today. So today we launched the first US VC fund dedicated to Ukraine. It's ridiculous that this hasn't happened before, but it's happened now. And, FF Venture Capital as a firm is the only US venture firm with an office in Warsaw and in New York. And so we were uniquely placed. We have partners in Warsaw. Maris Adamski leads our Warsaw office, and he brought to the team this idea of expanding into Ukraine a little ahead of schedule as we build out our Eastern European operations. And believe it or not, that was February, and it takes that long to dot the I's and cross the T's to make sure this works. It's the first dedicated fund. Now is a perfect time because Ukrainian companies have been, over the years, receiving increasing amounts of capital. Last year, they received $832 million in venture capital coming in. And so this fund, and that, by the way, most of that is dominated at the later stage. This fund is an early stage fund, helping the companies grow, helping them establish. And so 30 to 50 million is an ideal amount to really make a material difference, because the way venture works is exponential. The next round is bigger, and the next round is bigger. From tiny acorns to mighty oaks grow. But we as a firm are used to building big businesses. And we said, what can we do to help? This is what we can do to help. And we're very excited to announce this today.
Natalia, tell us about your business. You're a founder. Tell us how the war has impacted the growth and the operations of your business. And congratulations for everything that you're doing.
Thank you so much, and thank you for launching the fund and paying attention to Ukraine and to investing in Ukraine. This is a very important topic, and I'm a second-time founder, and the company DRESSX, which I represent here, is US-based, with a vast majority of the team being Ukrainians. Myself and my co-founder, we are both from Ukraine and built tech company here. Of course, we were affected by the war. It's least to say. However, what's very important for us that the team was even more motivated to build, to succeed. And I have to say that that's the truth for every founder, for every team member of any Ukrainian startup now. People are very much motivated now to build and to make a change and to bring value not only inside Ukraine, but to the world. And that's probably the best return of investment that can be. My background was in traditional fashion industry. I mentioned that's a second company now. And we've been through that in fashion industry when build up Ukraine and put it in the world fashion map and made Ukrainian fashion not local but global. And now I believe IT sector has even a bigger potential because it's so much more scalable, and definitely the right time is now.
So, Minister, Alex, tell us, let's say we were in a situation room. Skeptics, media people would say, well, the Russian army is incalculably large relative to the Ukrainian army. Tell us how we're going to win. Tell us how the Ukrainians are going to repel the Russian forces, and tell people in this room something they wouldn't get from the CNN or from the media realm. Tell them the truth about what's going on.
Well, I think the truth is that their power and their like institution as an army is overestimated. Well, first of all, they're trying to invade Ukraine with less than 200,000 people. So far, we mobilized 700,000 people. So, at this point, according to open data and some other sources, there were more than 50,000 Russians were killed. So I don't think they have enough power to finish what they started. And what recent event shows that they can't even defend what they took over for like last 2 months. That's a funny fact that those cities that were recaptured 2 weeks ago for just 2 days, Russia spent 2 months, more than 2 months, to overtake. So can you imagine the difference? And I think that
they have supplies line issues. They have morale issues.
Yeah, they have a lot of issues.
A lot of their troops are saying, why are we even here? They can't really figure out the purpose of the mission.
Exactly. That's morale. I think morale is most important. What I also observed that we fight in a different way. Well, I'm not taking now in account that it's our land and we fight with higher morale, but I think we fight more like smart way, in a smart way. Our army is decentralized, so it's more it has better speed of reaction, and they cannot respond so fast as we can. We are closely connected to the volunteers and the businesses, so our army gets the latest, technologies and equipment, but they just fighting with their, some outdated stuff. Anyway, so I believe that one of the reasons we're winning, because we also bring a technology to the battlefield. One of the examples is Starlinks. Elon Musk, during the first day of war, allowed Ukraine to use Starlinks, and then we got like 10,000s of units, so we have better connection. They cannot intercept it. We recently launched an initiative called Army of Drones.
Let me just stop you there. So it's encrypted so that the Russians cannot attach their army to Starlink, but the Ukrainians can.
They were trying to hack it, but there's no success in that. So this one of the reasons that our defense line has like internal communication and communication with the headquarters. And Army of Drones, this is Ministry of Digital Transformation initiative where we develop ad hoc solution based on a drone. So those are incredible things that I can't disclose it at this stage, but I think there will be going to a lot of work for F1 venture in terms of startups that's related to the drones and other autonomous vehicles after the war ends.
It's amazing. You know, necessity is the mother of invention. And when you put a country and a technology startup community under pressure, they create really interesting companies. And so, you know, we're excited about the opportunity there. I don't know if many people here know that Ukraine has 240,000 engineer graduates working today, that many Fortune 500 companies have employees, contractors in Ukraine, that I think 100 of the top technology companies have R&D centers there, NVIDIA, Google. I mean, it feels so foreign, it feels so distant, but it's really very close and culturally increasingly closer.
Natalia, when you are recruiting people to your business, people that are in the Ukraine, what is the messaging?
The message is that, of course, everyone is very confident in the win. Everyone is very strongly motivated to work even more, to succeed even more. And it's very important that the world is actually showing support, and that's how people keep kind of striving. And actually, John, you mentioned that there are a lot of R&D centers in Ukraine, and this is something that is not on the surface. So maybe we don't realize how much of a talent and how much of a technology is being built in Ukraine. However, what's important is also to take it to the next level and to bring it to the surface and build up actual products with the higher added value that are built, designed, developed, and exported from Ukraine. And I think that's kind of the next stage and the next level that developers, entrepreneurs, infrastructure, talent is ready for. And Ukrainians show to the world all the bravery now, but there is so much more to show, so much of a creativity, resilience. And I think everyone will be just ready to kind of speed it up as soon as peace will come. And that will be the bigger kind of stream of this creativity, great products, great technology coming from Ukraine. And we'll just waiting for this time and building for that.
Well, I can add here, just to give a sense of how Ukraine close it is to you. So every time you sit in a car, like Mercedes-Benz, BMW, Audi, Volkswagen, and many, like Porsche and many other, every time you touch anything on the screen, it's being developed in Ukraine. Everything, the software that this car is running is being developed in Ukraine. And even in the US, like the system that distributes cell phone numbers, it's also developed in Ukraine. So the many things that you don't particularly know, but you use in everyday life, it's Ukrainians behind it.
John, in the ideal world, how much capital would you like to have, and what areas or what sectors of the Ukrainian economy would you like to deploy that capital?
So, as I mentioned earlier, we've launched the fund today. We have 30 million in committed capital from visionary LPs who understand this and get it. We're still open on another 20 million. We're looking for the first fund to be 50 million. And not only is this the first US VC fund directed to Ukraine, but also Alex was telling me earlier that it's going to be one of the most significant in size
Yes.
dedicated to Ukraine. So I think to start with, that's the right number. Now, let's think about industries. We have developed an expertise in enterprise, drones, robotics, and fintech. That's a natural overlap. Then there's clearly going to be a lot of spin-off of defense and cybersecurity capabilities out of having to deal with the adversity from Russia. So that will be interesting. We like high growth businesses, ones that are addressable globally and can be brought into the US as technologies. We think there'll be a tremendous amount of opportunity. We've already evaluated over 250 companies. We've got 4 to 5 that we're looking to put in the portfolio immediately, but we're looking to build a portfolio of 20 or so companies. And by doing that, there's just a lot of opportunity. We keep our eyes wide open for those.
Natalia, talk about the people you grew up with and talk about the culture of the country. Because here in the United States, what we see is this remarkably resilient, versatile country, very adaptive and flexible. But tell us about some of your life experiences in relation to that.
Oh, thanks for that question. And a little bit of a personal story. I was born in Crimea, and that was the land that was taken in 2014. And honestly, I can't wait to feel that my home is back. Of course, I would go there after this invasion from 2014 and to visit my relatives. However, that's different. And maybe not everyone realized that the war started not this year, but it started in 2014. And we all kind of had experience through that. A lot of people from eastern part of the country. I have friends, their parents who left their home with a backpack, went from Lugansk to Kiev, and now they left their home in Kiev with a backpack again 8 years after, and now they are here, but not everyone had a chance to leave. And what's important that, everyone just knows that they should keep striving and keep working. I remember from the first day of this invasion, of course, there was a lot of panic, but most of the people were very sober and keeping their kind of mind cold and understanding that we should still keep working. Okay, I cannot go fight, but I can create, fashionable dresses. All the brands keep doing that. There is a huge platform Spend with Ukraine, which accumulated a lot of the businesses and the products made in Ukraine that can be done there. So I think this resilience is something that has always been inside and that has always helped to build, but also this feeling of freedom that actually drives and gives the power. And I think this, now people say freedom is Ukraine, and that's not today. It has always been like that. And I think it's important to share that as well.
I think it's really beautiful. Thank you, Natalia. Minister Alex, the Russian or the former Soviet Union, there has been a struggle in Ukraine for at least a century, if not more. There's been famines, there's been invasions, there's been repulsions by the Ukrainian people of the Russian army in the past. Do you think that this is an intractable problem for Ukraine?
Well, first of all, they are neighbors, and you can't get rid of a neighbor like this, especially. You can move.
Well, we got neighbors too, but they're Mexico and Canada. So,
So, but I think one of the reasons that it's happening right now, it's some sort of imperial thinking, and it's just not imperial thinking. All the time, they were thinking about us like a small brother, like we, not a nation at all, we're just some smaller Russians. And what I personally feel that they don't have respect for Ukraine as a nation, and they didn't have. like you mentioned, like we were fighting
Even going back in the 90s when
the 90s, and I think that's the reason. And I think that with us fighting more back, they eventually started to realize that we don't want to have anything in common with them, and that we are a nation. We're just not blabberish on some Russian dialect, just as the Ukrainian language exists. This is a Ukrainian culture exists, and I think what we need to do is we need to teach them that we are a nation.
Mm-hmm. John, when you think about this from an economic point of view, the Russians have been sanctioned by the West, other countries associated with the West. Many countries, as the president just pointed out, many corporations have pulled out of Russia. Yet they seem fairly resilient to these sanctions. They were sanctions in 2014 after the invasion of Crimea and Crimea. What is going on inside of Russia to the best of your capability? How are they able to withstand all of this?
You know, I want to take this up a little, if possible, When you look at this situation, you look on the news and you see war, and it seems very academic, but on the ground, it's people's family and cousins and friends who are being killed and attacked. And you look at that and you go, what can we do? We can do sanctions. We can try and shine a light on this, because transparency is the best way to resolve evil, awful things that are going on. You can give money to charities. But there are other things you can do. And the ways you can help depend on where you sit, depend on your background, depend on how you look at the world. And the way we look at it is, this is what we know how to do. Let's help startups. Let's help startups grow, become big. And that, to us, is the thing that we can do to help. It's a small thing, but it compounds. And this is the way, I think, that for folks who want to help without seeing this as a charity, this is an economic situation. This is being done as a full capitalist venture, investing in startups at fair prices, helping them grow big and sell them at fairer prices. It's the nature of the game. And we think, in its own way, this will make a difference. It's a piece of a puzzle of helping to grow this grow this country and get them the other side.
From your local perspective, Natalia, why is John going to be right? What can you share with us about your country that people may not know, or like what John is planning on doing is going to make him very successful?
Well, first of all, I want to invite everyone to visit Ukraine, because the words cannot describe what you can experience there, of course, when it's safe, when the flights are back. However, now there are a lot of conversations about investing with impact, and that's exactly the case here, because investing in Ukrainian founders, startups, companies, economy, you are doing this impactful investment. It's a lot of the conversations about some green technologies and sustainability, and peace is the ultimate condition of building up anything next. That's why it's not only an opportunity to make the returns, but to make a difference in the world and to make an impact in the world. And also Ukraine as a country is quite a young country. Last year we celebrated 30 years. This year it was 31st anniversary of Ukraine, of independent Ukraine, of modern Ukraine. And that's a great kind of age for the country. And this mindset of being open to everything new, to the new opportunities, to the new technologies, to the new ways how to build the processes. And actually, the fact that the level of adoption of crypto in Ukraine is one of the highest in all over the world. So it's really this openness and the possibility to build in a new way. Maybe it's going to be the blueprint of how the countries should develop in the future, because of course countries with a history like United States, like United Kingdom, and a lot of countries in the world already have this traditions, and a lot of things has been working for hundreds of years, but the world is changing. And actually Ukraine can be a great example of how to build it in a new way.
Alex, tell us how your job in the government helps to do exactly what Natalia is saying.
Well, we have this vision that which we started is a Ministry of Digital Transformation. It's a new ministry. We started in 2019 with a vision which we call country in smartphone. It's just so simple. And our major goal is to move 100% of government services online and actually eliminate this communication between government official and a citizen. So I think what most services that we consume or we want from government could be done online without involving even people. So this is what we're doing, and we were doing actually really great before the war, and still continue to do that. So showing that government could be not scary, could be convenient, could be
Service-oriented?
Yeah, service-oriented. And doing this, our goal is to also to show people that you want to live in this country because it's easy, it's convenient, and we do much more. Like with the war, we do the fundraising efforts. We managed to gather the biggest crypto fund, to like $60 million were donated to help Ukrainian cause, and we enabled services to people who claim if their property was destroyed by Russians, and give direct help to those who were in war zone using technologies. So we also believe that technology can really make a difference for people in need, for our military, and for those who fled, for refugees. And I think we're one of the first country in the world who made digital passports and equal to the paper ones. So in Ukraine, a digital passport is actually the same that's in the book. I think we first in the world made help to refugees through blockchain technology available. With the help of UN, with the help of major stock exchange, crypto stock exchange, and blockchains like Stellar. So those are projects that I think we making a difference, and we're making something is first in the world, showing this example to other nations, to the other countries.
John, we're going to give you the last word. Make the pitch for your fund.
I'm sorry.
We're going to give you the last word. You got 90 seconds. I want you to make the elevator. I want you to make the elevator pitch for your fund.
Okay. So I think we're very lucky to have heard from President Zelensky with regard to what's going on there and how this country is going to be rebuilt. He has this $4 billion program to rebuild the country. And within that, there's a technology element. This is a country that is leaning heavily into technology. We as a firm want to help, and we're looking for folks who believe in this impact investing as a way of really moving the needle. We think it's a great time. We think that not only have US VCs withdrawn, risked off at this point, at the point where they should be risk on, but also Russian investors have withdrawn from the country, and that's a void that's not going to be filled. There's an opportunity to invest in great technology companies, opportunity to be part of the future here, and to have a real impact with what you're doing. That's what's important to us, and that's why we launched the fund today, and we'd love to talk to folks about that.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Ukraine's future.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Слава Україні!